it.
Sorry, I'm in my full like Hufflepuff sweater.
I'm not glued to 3 segments. If it ends up being 1 segment, great. 2,
Okay.
whatever. But we're gonna just knock this out super quick.
Do I get to talk about my beautiful nephew or what?
Yes, no, you do.
Okay.
But I want to talk about Saladgate first, and then
Okay.
the labor, and then whenever those 2 things are done, unless we still have conversation to talk about, the show's over.
Okay,
This is the 4th of
beautiful.
July. Yeah, it's gonna be the numbers
Love
are
it.
gonna be tough. It's a holiday weekend. I just wanted to
It's
put a
just
short
something.
episode. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Going in 3, 2, 1. That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. I am your host, Scott. With me, as always, my co-host, Mary.
Mary.
Chris is not here this week. He is on vacation in the Catskills in New York. So we miss the hell out of him, and we can't wait for him to come back.
Also, I'm very frustrated seeing that he's posting from Angry Orchard.
I know.
Like,
That's super
I feel
exciting.
like that's really rude.
I know.
I don't know.
That's
Unless we
a
get
beer you can drink.
souvenirs. Unless
he better
he
bring us. Well, how is he going to bring us souvenirs? He lives in New Jersey, where he's going to have to mail.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want him to bring me souvenirs.
He better. As always, please connect with us. Facebook, No New Friends Podcast. The Instagram, no.new.friends.podcast. YouTube, No New Friends Podcast, where I guess we got sucked into some trend of opening a soda can. I don't quite get it, but there's a video of Mary opening up the can with waffles.
All I got was a text saying somebody open a can, and Waffles was sitting next to me. I thought it was a good idea, but it scared her.
I know. I don't quite get it. I don't quite get it, but you know, whatever.
ASMR, I guess.
Yeah. Please support us on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/No New Friends Podcast. For just $3 a month, you can join our Discord. You can see all of our, or a lot of our private videos, Mary's private videos. And then also, if you do the $20 tier, then you can sit in our studio audience like Jared does. And Jared's giving us a thumbs up.
Jared's killing
Jared,
it,
thank you for joining us as always.
Honestly, I feel like we should be paying Jared at this point because he puts up with our nonsense.
Yep.
You know?
And then the most important thing that I could talk about is Best of Orlando competition for Orlando Weekly. Vote.orlandoweekly.com. We're under the category Best Local Color, Best Local Podcast. Okay, so here's the deal. This is going to be probably a shorter episode. It's 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. And I thought about just doing kind of a 5-minute Happy 4th of July, but something happened. There's an update to our previous episode that I felt we have to address. And that's
that you felt compelled to share this because, one, that's very big of you.
Yes.
Because you were wrong. You're very wrong. And I was very right. Which is, a par for the course. We know this, but I'm just happy that you're admitting it. And so I'm just going to let you take it away. I would like for you to say it.
So this is, of course, an update to hashtag Saladgate. And the other side has surfaced. Okay. So this is not a statement or an explanation from Hillstone. This is from a bystander. And how do we know that they were a bystander and not just making this up? Because they have a picture of this gentleman who, if you listen to hashtag Saladgate, you know he created this video about this salad experience. He couldn't take a salad to go and then was trespassed from Hillstone. So this person was sitting in the booth right behind this gentleman. And how do we know this? We have a picture of it. And not only that, he was videotaping the manager. So I'm going to read you this post that hit Facebook today. And the profile was Sandra Pink. That profile has since been taken down. It was admittedly in this, in what I'm about to read, was a made up profile because this person did not want to have their personal name information out there and just wanted to share the information for Hillstone's defense. So here we go. And Mary, stop me anytime if you want to, do a I told you so there or bring up a point. Feel free to interrupt.
There won't be any I told you so's because I think that's
I deserve it. I deserve it. I laid down on the hill or died on the hill. I put the flag in.
You put the flag in the mountain. That's my phrase.
Flag in the mountain. I was dead.
It's okay. Look, we're all learning. We're all evolving as humans, and I'm proud of you for seeing. Yeah. Yes, we're all in a season of growth. Continue on, sir.
I'm not wrong very often, but in this case, I was wrong. And
what's your scale of very often? Like every second? What do you mean by that?
Once a day, maybe.
Okay. All right. Continue on.
So again, we weren't there, but according to this response, this is this person's perspective of what happened. My dad and I were sitting at the booth next to this gentleman and his guest. when this gentleman started raising his voice to the server about not being able to get a salad to go. At that point, it was fine, a little over the top, but fine. However, he continued to press the issue and started getting agitated. I even commented to my dad, has this man ever been told no in his life? To which my dad
stop you there.
Go ahead.
We've all encountered that, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
I feel like we've all been there.
Especially as restaurant managers, there are grown adults who we don't know if they've ever been told no.
Correct. Continue on.
Okay. So, to which my father responded, apparently not. We laughed and continued on with our lunch, thinking that that was the end of it. By the way, later I'll explain that this is not the first time he has been told no, he cannot have that salad to go at Hillstone. The manager then comes out to talk to him and explains that they cannot do that salad to go. Now, I know that they have a corporate rule against takeout food for at least a couple of years now, and they only amended it during COVID. During this conversation, the gentleman really raises his voice and starts being aggressive with his tone, words, and energy. The manager professionally stood her ground.
I want to pause you right there. Remember when Chris said he had a crazy look in his eye?
Yes.
Uh-huh. I just want to tag that in.
What's crazy is everything that you guys said is going to be addressed in this.
I feel like it. Okay, go ahead.
To the point where I think maybe one of you is Sandra Pink. Who knows? just to prove me wrong. Because, I mean, they touch on every point that the two of you made. All right.
I love it when somebody touches on every. I'm just kidding. I feel like that was something you would have said. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I know. So the manager professionally stood her ground. It's a corporate rule that she cannot do anything about it, and kept repeating, I understand. I'm sorry, but we cannot do that. And eventually had to say, no, we are not going to do that for you, because he just kept pestering her. The pestering then turned into bullying. The gentleman kept threatening, I'm going to post this everywhere. You'll see. I haven't seen such ridiculous behavior out of someone since working at Disney Guest Services when a family came in demanding a refund because it had rained. And this is the writer of this article saying this. The manager leaves, and I was praying that that was the end of it. His behavior made everyone around us so uncomfortable. Even the table of 4 businessmen next to the window were staring and commenting. Unfortunately, the manager had to come back again. But this time, the gentleman took out his phone and started recording her. She held up her hand and said, sir, you do not have my permission to record me. Please stop. She repeated this 5 more times. But he continued to record and speak very aggressively towards her, and yet was still smiling as though he was enjoying this encounter. At this point, I took out my phone to take a photo of him to have in case a manager needed it, hoping they were calling the police to issue him a trespass warning. In the photo below, you can see him smiling. A little while later, the general manager comes out and tells them to leave. The police then speak with him outside. Our server comes over and apologizes for the scene. My dad and I say we couldn't believe this behavior and how amazed we were with the manager and how professional she was. Our server then tells us he actually did the same thing last week. I exclaimed, last week, I exclaimed, damn it, I lost my spot. Hold on. Last week, I exclaimed, yes, the same thing happened last week, but it wasn't this aggressive. So the gentleman knew ahead of this visit that Hillstone would not give him a salad to go, yet he still went back, caused a scene, and bullied these employees who are just following the rules, and then smiled and joked about it with the cops. And then they go on to explain that they're coming forward now after a week because it was time to take a stand. The reason why they want to stay anonymous is because he or she knows bullies like this guest and didn't want to be bullied or anything like that.
I mean, we've already established that this dude is like a personality, like he's a full-on character. So I would not doubt that he would not like drag this woman that he doesn't know.
And then he put out a business related YouTube video yesterday and hashtagged it #Saladgate. And you know, sorry, I got distracted. My dog is barking. Hang on. Oh, so he brings it up in the thing and he's like, look, this whole Saladgate thing is blown way out of proportion. It's really not that big of a deal. blah, blah, blah. But the fact that he's putting hashtag Saladgate in his YouTube
but he was
videos,
the one that like started it though. You know, he was posting what really like, for me, when you were saying he was posting things at other restaurants and the Olive Garden situation, for example, to me, that meant that he was trying to make it a thing. And then now he's like, oh man, I don't know why this is all of a sudden a thing.
Right.
I'm so sorry. No, man, like you first of all lied. And honestly, like he's lucky that there's not
this one eyewitness. He lied. We only have the one eyewitness. So right now it's you know,
one eyewitness plus a ton of logic and years of being in the business that
you're not wrong.
Feel like, and this is not a I told you so. This is I've seen some stuff like this before, and I've seen guests who have turned stories into something a little bit different so that it seems like they're the true victim, when really
and all he had to do was omit certain important details,
right?
Like,
because
I pulled out my phone and was recording them.
He's not wrong. He was denied a salad to go.
I had already been told no last week.
And what I said was, I'm not calling him a liar. He's saying all these truthful facts, but he's omitting the parts where he is an asshole, like 100% terrible human being.
It just, this is the type of thing that makes me mad because, you know, I like to see the best in people, and I like to believe that everybody is honest and everybody is telling the truth. And honestly, when I first started watching the video, I immediately took the side of the restaurant just because I know how restaurant guests can be, especially regulars or especially people who come in there often, but they're not regulars. Like, and even the regular, I know how these people can be. So immediately I was agitated before I even watched the video. Then I watched the video and I was like, okay, I can see the other side of this where the restaurant really screwed up. And then when I was waiting for someone to say something from the restaurant or a witness to come out.
Yeah, but you have to understand from like a PR perspective, in this situation, it would not have helped Hillstone to say anything because it would further no, but it would let me finish. It would further perpetuate the conversation when really this is a blip and it should go away. Also, Hillstone is not big. They don't have a PR person. I guarantee you that.
Sure.
They probably have, you know, operations, and that's about it.
Right.
And they probably outsource their marketing, and that's not something that they're like, and yeah, this is a big deal, but this dude lied. And them coming out and saying, oh, he's a liar isn't necessarily going to help them right now.
Right. But do you think that even just to, maybe they don't even talk about this specific incident, but come out with this is our policy about behind certain to-go items, and we just don't do it?
No, they're taking they're Michelle Obama right now. When they go low, we go high.
No, and I get
hanging
that.
Out. They're just being themselves.
And I get that. But for me at this point, because from what I've read from there, Hillstone did everything correctly. I look at
respect them more for not like this is not a concern for them. Like this dude is ridiculous. This is whack. And they're not going to spend their time focusing on this weirdo and giving him like, don't perpetuate his whatever he's trying to do, because we all know that's what he is trying to do. He wants more exposure.
Right.
So let's not address that.
Right.
And that's very smart of them, I think.
And from that perspective, I get it. However, the way that I look at it is, I know I mentioned this the other day and I didn't really get to expand upon it, but when Blackfish came out, when the documentary Blackfish came out, SeaWorld took the stance that it's going to be no comment. We're going to have
I'm going to pause you right there.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the difference. This is a salad, Scott, in a restaurant.
Right. But the amount of attention that it got in the local community would be
nowhere near the same.
But I think it's proportional to the national attention that Blackfish got.
Not at all. Not at all. There's not documentaries coming out about this dude's salad experience.
I get what
you're saying. There's no life. There's no equivalent of life. There's no rights being
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
This is tomato. Like, you can't compare the two. You're comparing apples with school buses right now. I feel like.
And look, I don't want to debate that point with you. I disagree because I think, okay, this has 60,000 views. 60,000 views for the city of Winter Park is a lot. That's a lot of
but
views.
My red wedding reaction video has close to the same amount, and I'm not telling people that's how they should react to the red wedding.
Yeah, but does
that make sense?
That's a fun video.
It is fun, but maybe this was funsies for this dude. Like, he was just trying to get exposure. The people at Hillstone realized that. I think they did the right thing. I wouldn't have said anything personally from a PR standpoint. Let it go.
Look,
let it go.
I get it, but what I wanted to find out from your perspective. So I've given this a lot of thought, and Rachel and I talked about it. So as a restaurant manager, because we've run into this where we don't provide something, or it's against a policy or whatever.
We don't have it. It's just gone.
Not we don't have it. Not we don't have it, but we are telling a guest no for some reason. And I've run into this where the guest gets irate, and it becomes this whole thing. There's been times when I've given in and just be like, look, we don't do this, but I want this to go away, and I want it to stop. So here you go. And I kind of give in to avoid something like this. Now, what about you? You're a lot thicker skinned than me.
I wouldn't say I'm thicker skinned. So when I used to work at, the restaurant before where we worked together, my nickname was the Tiny Tyrant. And I'm not proud of that. It's not because I was mean to people, but I stand my ground, I think. And for my best example probably is when we worked for the same group, and I was the GM off of East 50, and it was a situation with a table that needed to be cut off. Like, they were drunk and they were acting bananas and just being dumb. And so I go over, and then they asked for the real manager, which obviously we've addressed. That's still me. And I stood my ground. They're like, we can't even just have a beer. We're going to cancel our food. And I was like, cool, cancel your food. We don't care about it.
That's different. When it comes to liability or guest safety or team member safety, absolutely, I stand my ground. But I'm talking and I can't. They can't get a certain size salad. They can't make a certain substitution or something. I can't think of a great example right this second. But where it is a policy to say no in this situation, and rather than make a bigger situation when I can easily solve it, I just give in and do it.
Right. But okay. So yes, you're right. I think for the most part, you and I are the same mind when it comes to let's find a workaround or look, my favorite color and my favorite area are gray, right?
Right.
Let's work in that. So that's okay to find a workaround, I think. And I think we both think the same way. So maybe I can't offer it for you to go, but I can do it with just the ingredients, and then you put your own dressing on it or whatever. We would figure something out, right?
Sure.
But the backstory of this, from what I've been told, is that he's done this before.
Right. And so at this point,
they're just like, man, you've got to stop. And that's when you do issue one of those trespassing warrants. So you don't want him to come back. You don't want him to think about all the other guest experiences that he ruined by behaving this way.
And based on what I read, the behavior warranted calling the police and trespassing.
I agree with that. Absolutely. I believe that. And I also, now that I know a little more, it is a little frustrating to see that he's taking selfies with the Winter Park Police Department. Yep. That is super, super unprofessional on their part. So
absolutely, because
I'm all about being a cool cop,
Right. But this is from what I'm reading there, the two managers that dealt with it did deal with kind of a pretty I wouldn't say traumatic, but this was a big deal. He's recording them.
No, I mean, there's still times
without permission.
No, there were table touches that I did with pissed off guests that I would walk away from, heart racing, a little shaky, just, and it's,
sure.
When people are not treating you necessarily like another human, it can be rough, man. Yep. And I feel like they're right for saying it was traumatic. It sucks. And for them to kind of be like, oh yeah, let's take a selfie with this dude who is our perpetrator in this situation. Yeah, it's totally fine. Right. This is fine.
Yeah. So that is our update to Saladgate. It seems like from this perspective, the whole thing, there was a lot of omitted details.
The salad has gone sour.
Yeah. There's a lot of omitted details that have kind of that this gentleman omitted and made himself seem like a victim.
I was going to say toss the salad, but then I realized that's not okay either.
Yeah. So hopefully this response gets as much attention as the initial video so that we can put this thing to bed. And look, I'm all about getting attention and
you are
and boosting your YouTube channels or your podcasts or your TikToks, but do it the right way. Don't do it by omitting facts and don't do it at someone else's expense. That's the big thing.
Yes.
Unless it's me doing it at Mary's expense.
Right. Wait a minute.
Unless it's me doing it at Mary's expense.
Wait a minute. No. Are we about to go into a break?
We are.
Hey, look, I just want to announce that our boy Jared got a perfect score on his second midterm.
What? Congratulations, Jared. That's awesome. We're gonna shoot up some fireworks for you today because it's 4th of July today. This is our 4th of July episode. Happy 4th of July. I hope everyone's having a good time. Good, safe time. We're gonna go to break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the New Friends podcast. Very nicely done, Mary. That was great.
Thank you. I was trying to restrain myself.
Well,
this asshole.
Why would you restrain yourself? It's okay. It's okay. All right. So we're gonna this next segment, and look, I don't see why we would need to go into a third segment. This first segment was 18 minutes.
Nice.
Or 20 minutes. I want you to talk all about just your week this week and how long it was. And just the baby and all that. And then
beautiful. Can I post pictures?
Yeah, for sure.
To our Facebook.
Absolutely.
Look, guys, and this is just, whatever. Leading into the segment, I am obsessed with this baby.
I'm obsessed. Yeah, I mean, you want to steal it, you want to eat it.
I know I said that before it was born, but I'm ordering, literally, I was just ordering things on Etsy matching with him.
Oh my God.
And it's not my own, it's not even my own kid.
All right, you ready?